welcome. My name is Nicole Norton, and I'm here with Kathy
Lehner.
And it's August 18th. Kathy is the current president of the Venice Area Chamber of Commerce, and we are conducting this interview at Bay Preserve at approximately 11:30 in the morning. And this oral history is part of the Chamber of Commerce's leadership class of 2024 class project that's focused on hearing the stories of local multi-generational businesses. And we wanted to get your interview because you're important.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, the first question I have is, can you share a little bit about your personal and professional background before you became involved with the Chamber of Commerce?
So I started out as a helpful hardware girl with Ace Hardware after my first job as a babysitter. Had about 12 years in hardware, moved to Florida in 1987, where it wasn't really looked fairly upon that a girl would know what to do in hardware, and that's okay. Ended up in the pool industry, but then ended up buying my own business. In 1990, bought a maid service, a former Molly maid service, and my goal was to clean up from Port Charlotte to Venice. Bought the existing business in Port Charlotte, and that's when I got involved in a chamber. Didn't even know what a Chamber of Commerce was till I was going to an educational class on how to run a business. And a girl in the class said, "You should really join the chamber." And I did. And I joined the Venice Area Chamber of Commerce. And then I ended up joining 3 others around the area that I serviced. So I guess I could say I'm the poster child of the chamber, especially the Venice Chamber. And I forgot the beginning of the question, where I started.
Yeah, what's some of your personal background?
Okay, so the business of cleaning up, grew that business by getting to know all the folks at the chamber, just getting those contacts, getting out there. And then I decided to sell that business to 2 girls that worked for me for the longest 10 years. And they were new entrepreneurs then, and I went into real estate. So 25 years in real estate. And the next thing I knew, I had the opportunity for the chamber. That was near and dear to my heart, so I applied.
So how long were you a member of the chamber before?
Now you're going to date me. It's 1990, so 35 years. I was a baby.
And how long have you been president of the chamber?
President and CEO for the last 6 years. Yes, but I came up through the chamber, you could say, by being involved, by going on the board of directors, being the chair of the board in 2005, and now coming on the other side, you see it from a totally different angle that is very eye-opening, and you realize how difficult it actually is, even though what we do and things that happen and people see from the other side looks so great and wonderful and easy. It's hard work to get it to look like that.
What first drew you to the Venice Area Chamber of Commerce, and then what motivated you to become or want to become part of the leadership of it?
How did I put that one? Sorry. I thought that was the growing up through it, so. Oh, that was part of the same question.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. If you just want to try to repeat them too. So what drew you into the Venice Area Chamber of Commerce?
Okay.
And then what led you to taking on that leadership?
All right. So being part of the chamber and active in it as I saw the benefits there. And it was just very easy to say, I would love to be part of that to help other people be successful and grow their business.
And then what made you want to take on that? Like, you said you served in different aspects throughout until you became the president.
So no one grows up thinking they're going to be, I'm going to work for a Chamber of Commerce, or I'm going to be the president CEO of a Chamber of Commerce, because you really don't even know what it is until you're in the business world. But knowing what we did, but then having the chamber lose John Ryan, who was around for who was CEO for 20 years, there was a big loss to the business community. And the chamber's just always been near and dear to my heart. And I was just very concerned who they were going to bring in next. The Venice area is a very close, tight-knit community. And it just needed that person to continue that. And when I was sharing that with some folks, they were like, well, then you should do it. So when you put your foot in your mouth, you take it out and move forward. And so I did apply. First time I applied for a job in 40 years. So it was very interesting.
Doing great. How do you see the role of the chamber within the community, and how has that evolved over the years? Because we're about to hit 100 years. So how has that changed, or at least since you've been there, how's that evolved? How the chamber fits into the community of Venice?
So the 6 years I've been there, the focus has definitely been on our mission to promote business growth and success. I looked up the definition of a chamber of commerce is to promote and protect business. So knowing that our mission statement is promoting business growth and success since 1925, it's a long time to keep the community going. That's what everything we do is focused on the mission. Does it meet the mission? Is it helping our businesses grow? Is it helping our community succeed? Our businesses and our community succeed. The Venice Area Chamber of Commerce has done so many things in this community, right down to the reason it was started. It was started in 1925. Can I go this route? Is that okay? Okay. The Venice Area Chamber of Commerce was started in 1925 because the Brotherhood of Locomotive Engineers, who were building up the Venice area, wanted it to become a city, to incorporate a city into the area so that it would be more desirable for folks. And they knew they couldn't go up to Tallahassee and try to get them to allow them to form a city. So they formed a Chamber of Commerce. And that's why we were started, to go and help incorporate a city. And it worked. We were incorporated in September of 1925, and the city of Venice then was started mid-1926. So you're welcome. So the chamber's done so from the beginning to selling land in South Venice, that the chamber had a sign outside that I think it was $200 a lot. And that was a 40 by 80 lot in South Venice for $200. And they bought them from the chamber. I don't think we were the one exchanging the land and all, but we were the ones selling them. And so to help build the community that way, then we went through a bit of a recession and all, and then coming back, helping to grow our community. 3 of the proudest things, I believe, were probably our community center on the island, that the chamber felt in the 70s that something was really needed for people to be able to gather. So thus they really campaigned behind a community center. And then there was a time where I don't know if it was Visit Florida, or somehow there was a $10,000 grant out there for anyone who brought tourists into Florida that during the summer. And during that time, if you could bring thousands of people together in the summer, you'd get $10,000. So Ellen Hillstrom, who was even before John Ryan, she was like, let's do it. And thus the Shark's Tooth Festival started. So on the board was Mike Pashota and Mary Charlin. That's why it started at Sharky's, and the chamber just gathered behind it. Here's something that grew so much that it just tapped into too much of our members. And our members, our businesses, that's what they're supposed to be taking care of, their business. So it was handed off to Special Olympics, and now Venice Main Street has taken the lead and doing exactly what the Shark's Tooth Festival was meant to do. Bring people to the community and show us off, of course, and then just celebrate what we're about, being the Shark's Tooth capital of the world. And then the third thing would be VABI, Venice Area Beautification, Inc. That was a committee at the chamber. It was during Maggie Turner's year. I remember being out at the bypass where the old shrimper was, and it's now SMH's emergency right at the corner. And out there, and we're planting trees, and cars are flying by, and I'm like, I'm gonna die in the middle of this area because someone's gonna run off. But so the chamber's doing that to help improve the look around the businesses. And no pun intended, it was definitely time for it to go off and flourish and become its own. By becoming a 501c3, Venice Area Beautification, Inc. now does the amazing things that it does with making our community. You ride downtown. When I was in real estate, all I had to do was take people over that bridge, the middle bridge. When they saw how gorgeous that downtown area was, they were sold. All I had to do was find them a house, and that's thanks to Vavi. So those are 3 great things I could tell you that the Chamber has done just through my time to even know about and to share, but even from the beginning and where we are now. Focusing on the mission, making sure we take care of our businesses now. So now the questions are always, does it meet the mission? Does it meet the mission? Does it help our businesses? Does it help the community?
Let me see. Well, no. What are some of the most significant accomplishments that you guys have been able to accomplish during your time as president?
So some of the proudest things I'm happy to have accomplished was starting our leadership program. We started up we had a 501c3, so it was activating it again. By putting our leadership program through that, it's all about education. So we have our adult program that has, I guess, brought so many new friendships together that each class seems to have such a great bond. The greatest thing, not only are we showing them what goes on in the community so that they get to meet other great leaders, we're showing them the community that maybe one day they'll say, oh, I remember that. I can make that better. That's when they'll step up and become that leader to make our community even better. We have, my favorite part is that every year they have to do a project that helps our community. And by doing that, you leave a staple in the community that when I see the leadership class of whichever one it is, and I know we're only 5 in, but I can only imagine where it'll go in the future and how much better the Venice area will be because of those classes. We've taken that leadership program to our teens, teen leadership. There's kids that go through, and they're high school students. So every grade, we just want to expose as many as we can to our community so that maybe it'll encourage them to want to stay here and work, live, work, and play. We have so many opportunities here, and if our kids don't know about them, why would they stay? Everyone wants to get out of Dodge once they graduate. We need them here to take care of us. And then the third program under the leadership series is all about Venice, where then we bring in our community residents, whether they're new, whether they've been here forever. And it's always fun to see those aha moments when you have those leaders in our community telling them what they do, how they do it, and they're like, didn't know that. And it's even better when they've been around for a while and everyone feels like, oh, I've lived here for how many years and I know. And then you realize, I don't know. So it's great to have made that impact on them and showed them something new. Just, again, enforcing how good we are here in a wonderful community to live, work, and play.
And I appreciate it. We all do, because it's an important program. Our economy, our area, a lot has changed in Venice in recent years. And so what kind of initiatives have the Chamber undertaken to support local businesses during that change? Because even our area has expanded quite a bit.
Our area has expanded quite a bit. Development, some people like it, some people don't. And I'm a believer, if you're not growing, what do you think is happening? So we do have a community where everyone wants to be here. So we have to be prepared for that. We have to manage it carefully. We need to have enough workforce here to take care of it the age that is moving in will require certain services, and we need that workforce to take care of it. So by helping to build that workforce, that's one of the ways we are trying to help. And again, that's educating our students of what we have here. Through the leadership program, we also started a program with the high school called Real World Wednesday. And Real World Wednesday brings in about 60 to 65 of our business members to the high school, where they have an opportunity to talk to students about what their business is all about, how they started it, the good, the bad, the ugly, the interesting parts about it, hoping to spark an interest in them. Again, bringing that awareness of this is what's here in the community, and you could come right out of school and come to work for them. And the businesses have been loving it. We've had some successes, which I'm very, very happy about. We had one boy going to the construction area. People think construction is the bad guy, but somebody has to build it. I mean, we're building schools, we're building hospitals. I mean, that's really a good thing. Yes, we're building homes, but we need those residents for the other thing and bringing up the tax base. But construction is a great opportunity for so many. And this one young man, when he turned 18, reached out to the two contractors that talked for the past couple of years at Real World and was like, I'm 18 now, how do I get my general contractor's license? And the greatest part is that those guys got him out and working on a job site, because he has to put that time in and learn all that before he could go to get his license. So we are connecting. We have a CPA who offered for an internship. He didn't even tell them what office he was with, where he was located, because he knew that if there was someone that took enough initiative to search him out, that's who he wants working for him. So one showed up, a young man showed up to him that afternoon, and he's like, okay, you're hired. Again, it's an internship. And then the next morning, a young lady did too. He goes, I hired them both. So if we could bring that out of our students and bring that into our community and workforce, we're doing something right.
No, that's amazing. That was amazing. We've partaken in that, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
And they loved it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Can you think of, I mean, I'm sure there's a bunch, but can you think of any memorable moments during your time at the chamber, funny story or anything that
I can really share?
I guess it needs to be somewhat appropriate.
That was the one thing I was so struggling with as far as what to share. I'm not sure where to go on that one yet. Sorry.
That's okay. We can think about it too. What's one of the biggest challenges that you think you faced as your time being president, and how did you address them?
So in 6 years, I'm sure the biggest challenge over the past 6 years was COVID. And so we're in a community of hurricanes as well. So having those types of challenges come up, it's just trying to figure out how to make sure everyone is informed of what to do, where to get the resources that they need. And that's something I could say we really did step up for. Even during COVID, when everything was shut down, we were fortunate to be in Florida, that we were open and keeping our businesses informed of what's going on and what's happening and what needs to happen was something the chamber was definitely able to do. I had a couple of folks that were working remote, but most of us were in the office, and our office is set up, fortunately, where we were all in our own office, so we were distanced apart, and our lobby was closed for just 2 weeks, but then we opened again, and people were coming in, and we had them separated, but it was still keeping everybody informed. When it comes to the hurricanes, it's working with the county and the city and getting all that information out about what's going on, where to get supplies, what's the next thing to do. And I think being the middle person, not even the middle person, being the one to share all that information with everyone. We were the go-to organization for folks to find out the information. Folks calling us on the phone, asking questions that had nothing to do with business, but it had a lot to do with COVID, and we were able to give them those answers. So that's probably one of the toughest challenges, or a couple of the toughest challenges, is when we go through those natural disasters and the pandemic. But it helped. It's funny how it brought out some of the best things in us, and how we pivoted, even how we operate at the chamber.
Can you think of any stories of when Ian came through, or even during the pandemic, where you were able to see businesses helping other businesses or doing great things? I'm sure there's some cool stories that have come out of that.
It's amazing. Our businesses, I believe, in the Venice area are some of the best, because it's not selfish. When there's a need, right down to our high school, you look at all the banners on all those fences of every business in town. They all step up for our community. It's what it's about. And I believe when you're part of the Venice area, you're part of a bigger family, and they're all here to help. And that's kind of fun to be part of that. I know we had at the chamber, when COVID hit, and then we figured out that, okay, you can actually touch something and not pass it on to somebody. There were two things we did. One was a positivity wall. There were actually 5 of them that we collaborated with the county, the city, Main Street, the Art Center. We had J2 Solution help us. We had Home Depot help us. And we put up positivity walls in 5 different places. It was kind of a thing to kind of keep people inspired, to bring out something good. That's the only thing they could write on the wall, was something positive. It was just trying to reinforce that it'll be okay. We had it in 5 different places. One was right on Venice Avenue, downtown Main Street. So you had a lot of the folks that were here visiting, and you could tell that by their quotes, soaking up the sunshine. And you go down to the beach, and it was, I should have reversed that, sorry. The ones on Venice Avenue were enjoying being out and getting around town, having lunch outside, and being able to go into a store. The ones at the beach were the shouldn't say sucking. The ones at the beach were soaking up the sunshine and enjoying fresh air. We had it at the library. At the library, there were quotes from books about being positive, being a better person. We had it out at a county, it was the Sandra Terry building where they have tennis courts and all that. So it was very sports oriented. Out here, just finished a round of tennis and being able to be outside and enjoy. And at the Y, it was kind of funny. That one was definitely working out, being healthier at a time when I really need to watch my own health and take care of myself. So the positivity walls to bring the community together were wonderful. We had, I want to say, almost 200,000 tags that were written on. We gave them all to the Art Center to possibly one day put together a coffee table book of all of them. So that was really neat. Then the other thing we did as a business organization was the board of directors decided to each chip in. We put together $3,000, so it didn't come from any members' dues or anything that came in. It came from the board of directors. So during July, August, and September, the quietest time of the year, usually here, we did a buy local. And during COVID, we had people come in each month, and each month we gave away $1,000. The economic impact from that, we had receipts. At that time, we wrote down every dollar, who it was from. And so we got to see a lot of people's shopping lists during COVID. Very interesting. We had a wedding, a funeral, a car, a boat, and a lot of groceries, a lot of liquor. That was the funny one. But $4.3 million worth of receipts. The economic impact in 90 days that brought was $43 million to our community during COVID. which I believe really kept a lot of our businesses alive. We do that now on a regular basis. During the winter for the holiday, I guess you could say, we do it from Black Friday, Small Business Friday, through probably just the week before Christmas. And last year when we did it, mind you, 20 days, we had about a $1.4 million economic impact in our community because people brought their receipts in. We just put a little stamp on it, said thanks for buying local. It had to be within the zip codes of the Chamber's service area, which goes from Osprey through Nokomis, through Venice to Welland Park, River Road connector west to the Gulf of Mexico. That's our service area, and that's the receipts we accepted. It was great. It was really nice to see people excited being out because they had to buy it from a local business. And that was our whole point, to make sure we helped them.
I was part of that, so it was super cool to see. Sorry. See, it becomes easier and we just keep up.
Yeah.
We've kind of touched on this, but how does the chamber engage in the community? And you've talked about some of the programs and events that we've done, but can you think of any more that kind of foster that local involvement and getting businesses involved in the local economy?
Okay, let me see what I wrote on that one. Because we've
talked, like you said, we've dabbled on some of that already, so.
Yeah. That's what I wrote down as far as yeah, I did a lot of that from Shark's Tooth.
Yeah, we can go to the next one about.
Okay, what is that one? The challenges and solutions?
Tourism.
Oh, tourism.
Well,
okay.
I mean, there's other events that you guys have done too. Like I know I went to the International Women's Day event that supported the community. And don't you guys have an annual meeting / awards too that you can celebrate all the different businesses? You can touch on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
No, well, believe me, I would say women empowering women is one of my pride and joy. When I first joined, I guess when I first got this job, that was in March. And in October, we did our first Women Empowering Women. And it's with the women that are here, our local businesses, our business owners. It was the point that if I can do it, you can too. And how do we support each other by doing that? And each year it has grown, and it just seems to get better and better. Last year was the year of impact. This year, the year of legacy. By going with themes, it's amazing what you can get across. We do now we call it our summit in the fall, that we keep small and intimate with about 100 to 125 women so that you can kind of have a conversation. Even though there's a stage up front, you really feel close enough to feel that you are engaged in that conversation. And then we go to a bigger spectrum for International Women's Day that we celebrate, and that's in March. March 8th is International Women's Day. If it falls on, like this year, it's going to be on a Saturday. We're going to celebrate it on Friday because it is about business, and that has brought some great speakers in. We had our last one was the Secretary of the Department of Business and Professional Regulations, and Melanie Griffith was amazing. It was just a day of really coming together. Everyone walked out of that luncheon empowered, ready to take on the world, and she just made you feel like you could do it. So that's one of my favorite accomplishments. And of course, there was the challenge of some that were, well, what about the guys? So we had to take care of that too. And we did in a very fun way, because I do believe that doing business, you do need to laugh sometimes. You can't take it 100% serious. You have to take it 99% serious. But that 1%, you need to be able to chill. And we do what we call Wise Guys. It has a play on wise. It's really why guys should take care of themselves, have a plan legally and maybe an exit strategy, something like that, so that the men can learn, just like the women do, through others' experiences of how to make themselves better. And one of the greatest things that I do love about this chamber is how we celebrate our businesses. And that's through their excellence, their business excellence. And every year we have a Business of the Year award. And we have 5 different categories: small, medium, large, nonprofit, and the new business of the year. I was the 1991 New Small Business of the Year when I got here, which was a shining moment for me. And it's something I'll always remember. It's amazing how when you celebrate a business for their success, that it just seems to make them thrive and do even better. And I have to say that for all of our applicants as well. Going through our process is not a popularity. It's not how many votes can you get from the community. One nomination. You might be nominated 10 times, but you're still one nomination. Then the process you have to go through is a written of looking at your business plan, making sure you have everything intact. And it opens a lot of businesses' eyes to see maybe some strengths, some weaknesses, the opportunities of what they could take on to be better. Then they have an in-person interview, and that in-person interview is usually as intimidating as an interview like this. But it really, you get to hear the heart and soul of what they're doing. So then on that day, when we celebrate our leadership of turning over our board of directors and our business excellence, which is our Business of the Year awards, it's just a fabulous luncheon that we come together and celebrate everyone.